Okay, welcome back to another MTG League. Playing a new deck today. Playing 4-colour stuff. I think the technical name is 4-colour Omnath or 4-colour Yorion or Blink. Yeah, going to give this a go as an option for one of my upcoming paper tournaments. Expecting a lot of mid-range type decks there. So, and this is kind of touted as being the king of the mid-range decks at the moment. Thought we'd give it a go. Deck list looks pretty sweet. I've enjoyed playing with Omnath in other decks. So pretty much just a combination of all good cards in every colour except black. There's a couple of key interactions, I guess. Eternal Witness and Ephemerate can pretty much loop themselves, and you can buy back an extra card from the graveyard every turn. This with Time Warp, I think you manage to take infinite turns. What else have we got? Yeah, that loop can also buy back Counterspell every turn or what have you. You've got Eladamri's Call to find whichever creature you need at that current point, which also means in the sideboard we've got a couple of silver bullets. We've got Charmaw, Subtlety, Night of Autumn, able to do good things at the sideboard and more ways to find them, hence the kind of one-ofs, which is kind of key in this 80 card list. But yeah, other than that, we've set deck seems pretty cool. Thanks to everyone that subscribed recently. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Please do feel free to interact with us in the comments, and yeah, do subscribe if the content is something you are enjoying. Trying to get to we've managed to hit 250 subscribers, so the next kind of target will be 500, I guess. So would be really nice to reach that. If you've got any suggestions for cool decks that should be on my radar, please do let us know in the comments as well. But for now, let's get into the first round. Okay, so on the play, always good. Let's declare Yorion. If this had another land, we might keep it, but we're going to mulligan. Yeah, this is fine. Turn 2 Wrenn and Six is what we're after, really. Think in this instance we're against Lurus, so I think I'm just going to get rid of the I think Solitude. Eladamri's Call can find it again if we need to. Bit worried that my opponent will thought seize me, and really after playing this Wrenn and Six on turn 2, so hence the reason to keep 2 of them. There's a bauble. So opponent doesn't have Dragon's Rage Channeler. Could be Shadow. Okay, so nothing on turn 1 in the end. Opponent seeing what we're drawing. We're drawing Iteration. Not too bad, but we're going to slam our Wrenn and Six here. We'll go and get the Mountain Plain. So we need green, really, and then it should also be able to cast Expressive Iteration next turn, so green-blue is probably the way to go. And then that also casts Eladamri's Call. Let's cast this Wrenn and Six, and we can pass the turn there. So yeah, looking like my opponent potentially on Shadow. Depending on what they play here, we've got a lot of good options this coming turn. Okay, just a land. Yeah, so that's a good draw because we can start looping that later with Wrenn and Six. I think we're just going to Iteration here. Get ourselves ahead on cards. Okay, so we'll put Time Warp in hand, bottom the Flooded Strand, exile the Growth, play a Flooded Strand. We will have to fetch Shock, which isn't great, but that's fine. Yeah, let's get Temple Garden here, and then we'll enchant that with Abundant Growth, drawing a card, and return a land, and end the turn with 7 cards in hand. Wrenn and Six getting the lands back, also obviously good to play around Drown in the Lock. Okay, so our opponent is on Grixis Shadow, the kind of shock land there, telling us all we need to know really. There's an iteration, see if our opponent, it might be that they're on Dragon's Rage Channelers. And they don't want to play them into this Wrenn and Six. Next turn, all else being equal, we will probably Teferi, bounce Abundant Growth, and then replay the Abundant Growth. Stop any Drown in the Locks, etc. Okay, Dragon's Rage Channeler. Not currently big enough. Could be a shadow here. Okay, have they got a bauble? Bit surprised at that. We're just going to ping it. And then we could iteration here. And then hold up Eladamri's Call. I think I prefer that. Although we have a lot of lands already. Actually, Teferi tick up, hold up ending is pretty good. Opponent can Unholy Heat next turn. Maybe we're meant to... If opponent Unholy Heats our Teferi, still a 1/1. And then next turn we can Time Warp. Yeah, I think we're just going to play Teferi here. Do I just want to get the raw car advantage? Yeah, I think I'm alright ticking up there. We can Prismatic Ending if my opponent goes Ragavan, or... Yeah, it might be that they have Unholy Heat. If they have double heat, that's obviously not great. Opponent has got 8 cards in hand. But yeah, saves us from a Ragavan here. Don't know, maybe I should have played that turn differently. We could have used all our mana if we'd gone iteration, hold up Eladamri's Call. If we can untap, obviously we're just so favoured to win then, I think. Okay, they found a Delta. So they do heat the Teferi. Guess it saves our Wrenn and Six, but... Yeah, I think we're just going to take another turn this coming turn. Unless we draw anything stellar. Okay, Fury's pretty good. Yeah. So Time Warp here, obviously enabling us to put another counter on our, essentially draw a card, proliferate. Probably could have Spell Pierce. Or there could be an Unholy Heat. Opponent goes to 8. Yeah, I think this is going to be Heat. Well, okay, Heat the Wrenn and Six, but not sure why our opponent didn't go for that last turn. Okay, that's obviously really good. So we could go Wrenn and So we're going to go Omnath here. If we can draw a fetch land, we can just do so much stuff. Red, white. We draw spreading. Oh, that was wrong, wasn't it? Okay, yeah, that's my bad. Because now we can't play our Wrenn and Six. Yeah, that was bad. I should have Wrenn and Six into Omnath there. Okay, opponent finding Thoughtseize, which is pretty rough. We really could have done with sequencing my last turn better. Yeah, especially since we kind of wanted to save this Ketria Triome to keep looping with Wrenn and Six. Not that we're short on card advantage, I suppose. If opponent has a shadow, they could take the ending here. And then slam a shadow, which would be a 5/5. We've got the iteration to dig for more. Eladamri's Call can dig for subtlety as well. Not subtlety. Solitude. Okay, bit surprised at that. So that implies my opponent has Unholy Heat. So let's go Wrenn and Six, because buying back a land here is really strong. Kind of force my opponent to force my opponent to do something here. If they had the heat, I'm a bit surprised they haven't done all of this at instant speed. Let's go and grab a plains here. We could actually... What if we had Eladamri's Call? We're definitely ending this. So if we Eladamri's Call for Eternal Witness, have we got enough to then time warp? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Not quite. So I don't know that it's going to matter here, but I guess we're spreading seas there, untapped land. Okay, fatal push. Okay. Now I think we'll just go Eternal Witness. Is this right? Yeah, we'll go Eternal Witness here, and we'll just buy back the... Could buy back Time Warp. No, let's buy back Omnath. We're not completely safe here. opponent has got 5 cards in hand. Like a Croxer or... Well, that's their that's their last Expressive Iteration. Okay, looks like they miss. So yeah, we do grind them out here. Oh, I guess, yeah, that's why they couldn't kill Omnath, because they had Fatal Push, so they needed us to kill the Death Shadow. Okay, so something to think about there. Okay, so what do we want here? So we're going to want all of the Veil of Summers. Anything else? Aether Gust potential. Bolt probably has to stay. Spreading Seas can be really good against them. Solitude's good. Fury's not as good. The Time Warp is possibly not as good here either. Bolt, we'd rather just have Helix. Probably not, because we need to be able to kill a Ragavan. Let's take out the Time Warp, I think. I think this is probably fine. It's a little sketchy, but yeah. If they go turn 1 Ragavan, we're gonna have to ending it. I think we're gonna ending that as well. We could do with, oh, okay. So drawing the land there is really, really good. I think, do we want to fetch basic planes here? I think so. Or is it just Temple Garden? That's going to have to fetch Shock. Let's just get planes. Just ending that. Ending is... Oh, yeah. A bit risky there, because we would have quite liked to draw Wrenn and Six and play it. Okay, Inquisition second. So we've got a decent hand of stuff. Okay, takes the Eternal Witness, which makes sense, because obviously we can just buy back whatever my opponent takes. Okay, so drawing Veil of Summer is not too bad here. So yeah, we're going to go for the Eladamri's call. Opponent might counter. Wouldn't be surprised. Although then we can slam Teferi if my opponent counters. Okay, so they Spell Pierce. So that implies... Okay. So... I'm pretty sure my opponent has Drown in the lock here. So holding up, hopefully we can find a land. Well, there's a Ragavan. Gets around Prismatic Ending nicely. Okay, opponent hits Lightning Bolt. See if they cast it. Looking like they might. Okay, so maybe my opponent is on the second Spell Pierce. So we're going to get a Triome here. I think we'll just grab... We might want double white actually if we go to Teferi, hold up ending. So we'll get the Raugrin Triome. Land. That's a really good draw. So we want to hold up white and green here. So the only way to do that is hold up this Misty Rainforest. Let's try and play Teferi. Okay, Spell Pierce. So yeah, I think we're happy Veil of Summering here. So what do we want to get? Not another basic. Well, basic forest isn't. No, we can't get basic forest because we want to cast this Omnath next turn. So breeding pool probably. We know our opponent's got Ragavan. So does the Ragavan mean we want to tick up? Opponent's got 3 cards in hand. If they go Ragavan attack, they haven't got Delirium. So yeah, I'm going to tick up here, try and protect my Teferi from dying. Okay, opponent sees what we're drawing. Wouldn't mind a land. Wouldn't be too... Oh, that is actually Unholy Heat, which is bad. So opponents seen what we had on top. Counterspell. Oh, they just didn't want us to draw that. Oh, they do have the Unholy Heat as well. Okay, Wrenn and Six is pretty good. Opponent could... They can't Spell Pierce Wrenn and Six. I do want to hit my land. If I Omnath obviously into a fetch land, I'm really good. But if I Omnath in... I think I'm just going to Wrenn and Six here. Go and grab a land back. Which we'll play. And then we'll Spreading Seas one of these. Draw a card. Okay, Ice-Fang not too bad a draw there. Actually a pretty good draw. And we can keep that fetch land in hand. Sorry, uncracked in order to better. Oh no, that of course that doesn't matter because we've got this Wrenn and Six. That's our opponent Unholy Heats it again. 3 cards in hand for our opponent. Hopefully this just put Lurus to hand. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we can just go and get the Triome here. And then we're probably going to go and fetch a basic so that we can give this Death Touch. Okay, so let's go Omnath. We're going to then fetch a basic island, so we need to hold up a forest. Oh, I've done that wrong. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, opponent's got heat. Okay. So we'll go... Yeah, I should have returned this to hand first. Play the Misty and pass. So we've got an Ice-Fang now. Here comes Ragavan. So yeah, I'll try and get this with the Ice-Fang. Opponent could have another Drowning Lock. Could have a Drowning Lock. That's not great. Okay, so we'll get to block here. Okay, opponent gets to Thoughtseize. Take our one remaining spell. That's a fantastic draw. Yeah, they don't, at this point in the game, they don't come much better than that. I mean, he says they don't come much better than that, but so we're going to take Bolt to hand to deal with Lurrus. Spreading Seas on the bottom. We'll exile this Omnath. Play this Omnath. Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah, it gets there. Deck has some really good top decks. Don't know what our opponent had in hand, but you know, we play that, we gain a whole bunch of life potentially. Yeah, just kind of get there. So yeah, see you for the next round. Right, on the play for this round number 2. Let's go Yorion. And yeah, this hand seems good. We'll go turn 1 Triome, and turn 2 we can choose to either ending something our opponent plays or hold up Ice-Fang. Pass the turn. Yeah, definitely still getting to grips with this deck. If anyone's got any tips, I saw a great article the other day, but if anyone's got any tips on playing it, that would be always greatly appreciated. Okay, so let's see what this is. Saga, so Eldrazi Tron probably? Could be Chalice on one here. Okay, so looking like Eldrazi Tron, which is a name not seen around these parts in a while. Okay, so just play the Ice-Fang out here. Counterspell's a really nice draw. Actually, yeah, okay, so okay, yeah, so we'll attack for 1 here, and then we're just going to bounce the Urza Saga, no question. We'll play the basic planes to both fuel Death Touch and to keep a fetch land in hand for Omnath. Yeah, being able to bounce as a Saga is insane with Teferi. Okay, so next turn we're going to Abundant Growth and hold up Counterspell. I think mana. Could be another Chalice on 1. Oh, okay, of course we can't can't Abundant Growth here. So wonder if I meant to just, I think I meant to just slam Omnath here. Okay, Solitude's a really good draw as well. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to slam here. Draw a card. Yeah, double Solitude. Opponent can make a 3/3 construct, which we're not too afraid of. Oh, they got Dismember. It's pretty good. 2 mana. Is this another Chalice? Ballista on one. Sure. Oh, these abundant growths are getting frustrating. So what are we doing? I don't really want my opponent to be able to make this any bigger. I guess we can do everything at instant speed, although in that case I kind of want to put Yorion to hand. I think what we'll do is we'll put Yorion to hand. And then in such a way that we can hold up Counterspell and so opponent's going to, oh, they might get Basilisk Collar here, which with Ballista is just a kill spell. Well, it's just yeah, they can if you get Basilisk Collar, you can ping anything down with Ballista. Okay, so opponent goes and gets Expedition maps. That gives them Tron. Obviously, the ideal for us is probably they go for pumping the Ballista and then we respond by Prismatic Ending the Ballista. We've got 5 mana next turn, so we can Yorion if we need to. So actually, yeah, that's a good point. We probably don't want to block here. Depends who they attack. Okay, so they've just got Tron. So they are pumping Ballista. Hopefully they just go for that again. So I think now we just go, do we want to ending it or do I want to just Solitude here? I think we'll ending. Although ending would allow us to kill the map. Ending is a lot more flexible. We could go Solitude, pitch, Solitude. But then that's quite a bad exchange. But then we could go, I think we're going to do that though, because okay, so my reasons here are we're going to get to keep the Teferi, and then we can ending one of the chalices, potentially bounce a chalice, and then start getting these abundant growths down. Either that or we ending the map, which could go and get Cavern of Souls or another Saga. Do we care about map here? Okay, so opponent pings down that, and I imagine they'll ping Teferi. Yeah. Okay, so they gain no life as well, which is obviously good for us. Question is, do we want to hit the map, or do we want to hit a chalice? I think I'm just going to hit the map. And then we can just hold up Counterspell. Oh, I can't believe I just made such a stupid error. Oh, I just needed to pay for it. Yeah, you can't do that because... Right, well, I guess we just... Oh, that's so bad for us. Yeah, so I needed to fetch first and pay an extra mana because Chalice on 1 blocks Prismatic Ending on 1. Ugh, that's really bad. It's possible I should have just slammed Yorion there. Getting a bit greedy. 9 mana. Okay, we'll counter that. Okay, Reshaper's fine. Okay, Witness is good, so we'll... I think we're going to start bouncing Chalices, get these abundant growths down. So bounce a Chalice. Okay, we find a land, so we'll go to Teferi. Bounce another Chalice. Okay, and then I think we just want to start drawing cards. So with abundant growth, I think we'll just fetch a basic forest. With abundant growth said forest. I should have done that the other way around, really. Really need to get better at sequencing this. Here, I think we can just abundant growth this. Okay. Okay, so not bad. Apparently it's got 2 Chalices in hand. If we can... Next time we got 1, 2, 3. Actually, next turn... Maybe we should have just done that turn. So we go... No, because we didn't have a land. I was going to say we could have witnessed, got back Omnath. But that's what we're going to do this turn. Witness. Get back Omnath. Although we haven't actually got quite enough mana to do that. And play a spell. Could just Yorion here. 1, 2, 3. See what we draw. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Guess the opponent actually can switch up their Chalices now. Maybe didn't actually think about that. They could put one on 5 if they really wanted. So they got 6. They got 9 mana. If they got a land, they could put one on 5. They could put one on 3 for Teferi. They could put one on, well, 2 for things like Counterspell. Looks like just a Chalice on 1 for now. And probably a Chalice on... Is it just double Chalice on 1? No, it looks like they are going to go for more. Probably Chalice on 2. That's fine. We've got quite a lot of expensive spells. Another Reshaper. Sure. Okay, more land isn't really what we want to see. So, yeah, I think we're just going to witness here. Get back Omnath. Play a land and play Omnath. Draw a card. Okay, we've got a lot of lands in hand. But if we can untap Unscathed here, we're just taking this. If my opponent attacks. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we get a little bit punished if my opponent goes like Karn Ballista. Okay, Iteration's nice as well, so we've drawn well here. So I think we'll play a land first, just to make sure that we gain the life. And we'll attack with everything. Go to 8. Then we'll make some mana. Then we can go Iteration. Oh, that's countered. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so we got 5 mana, so hopefully my blunder doesn't do us too badly here. So what do we want to get back? Can't get Counterspell. We could get Solitude though. Yeah, let's get the Solitude back. And draw a whole bunch of cards. Oh, Ephemerate's pretty good as well. And Eladamri. We'll take all those. Okay, yeah, that's probably fine now. Okay. Yeah, so in a kind of grindier game like that, I definitely made a few mistakes here, but we're kind of muddling through. Ephemerate in the late game is just so powerful. And yeah, the Ephemerate and Eternal Witness there would have been great. Okay, so I think we're going to want Force. We're going to want Night of Autumn, Charmaw. We don't like Bolts. Spreading Seas is obviously great. Fury kills... Well, it kills either 2 Reshapers or a Thought-Knot Seer, or it can trade in combat with a Reality Smasher. Counterspell I think we want as well. Witness. Is Time Warp too slow? No, I think Time Warp's probably fine. What about Wrenn and Six? I don't think we ever cut Wrenn and Six. Well, it's less good against Eldrazi Tron. Ending's fine. Can even kill Thought-Knot Seers or Reality Smasher if we've got the Abundant Growths out. I think we'll keep the Time Warp in. Maybe we take out Counterspell. Yeah, let's take out 1 Counterspell. They're possibly running Cavern of Souls. It's got a lot of stuff we're interested in. Got Spreading Seas and Wrenn and Six and the rest of it. Okay, another land. So I think now we're going to just play out our Misty Rainforest. We'll keep that. We've got enough lands here. We don't really need to play the Triome. Saving 1 point of life. Double Eldrazi Temple is scary here. And Reshaper's pretty scary. Could just be Chalice on 1. Okay, Ballista. Okay, actually, that's fine. We'll just Wrenn and Six that to death. Get the Triome. Okay, so mountains. So do we just go and get a basic forest here? Is there any reason to not get basic forest? Don't think so. Play this Wrenn and Six. Would imagine Ballista will shoot the Wrenn and Six. suppose we could get Smash It here. Okay, there's the Cavern of Souls. Could be a turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer, looking that way. That's okay. I guess we can Spreading Seas the Cavern. Probably takes Eladamri's Call. Because if I draw a white source, I can Solitude it. Well, drawing lands isn't really what we want. We haven't drawn a white source, so I guess we're Spreading Seas the Temple now. Ending, sure. Okay, so let's play a tap Steam Vents past the turn. Imagine our opponent kills our Wrenn and Six here, but then next turn we can actually just Ending the Thought-Knot Seer. Quite an expensive kill spell, but needs must. Or we could just maybe we're better off just holding up Eladamri's Call. Okay, opponent goes for Tron by the look of it. Maybe we were mistaken in getting seizing the temple. What do we want to draw? Omnath's a fine draw as power plant. Okay, that's not bad either. So we could hold up Eladamri's Call for Omnath next turn. I actually don't mind that. So hold up Eladamri's Call, and then next turn we go Omnath into Time Warp, assuming my opponent has not got Dismember. The other options are Eladamri's Call for Solitude if my opponent goes Karn, or call for Fury to kill this. Sorry, Eladamri's Call for Subtlety if my opponent goes Karn. And we do have Time Warp next turn, which is fine. Yeah, so going Omnath into Time Warp is obviously really strong. Is this another Thought-Knot Seer? So we could go Eladamri's Call, Subtlety, but that doesn't actually help us really. So we're just going to have to let this resolve. See what our opponent takes. Eladamri's Call's so good. I'm surprised it hasn't seen more play before this, really. Just search for any creature. Okay, so take Eladamri's Call, not to be not unexpected there. Okay, so go and get a land. We've got double blue, probably want more green. Let's just get Breeding Pool. Cycle. Opponent missed a land drop there. Okay, we find another Eladamri's Call. Okay, so I'm just going to get a basic island. I think. Do we need more planes? We can always get a basic planes if we need to. So let's go Time Warp. Okay, and then go Wrenn and Six, pick up a land, ending a Thought Not Seer. Or we just wait again. We could play the land and then end of turn Eladamri's Call for an Omnath. Actually, I don't mind that instead of Wrenn and Six. So that's ending the Thought Not Seer. We can't do that. Okay, so we need to do... Right, so green, blue, white, red. Draw a card. Okay, so hopefully our opponent just can't do much now. Another Thought Not Seer is obviously a little troubling. But yeah, end of turn we're just going to go Eladamri's Call. Reshaper. Deal. Okay, so we're just going to get basic planes here, then we can just Eladamri's Call. So this power plant is a bit troubling. We could have gone and got Charmaw there. Okay, so opponent could obviously have Dismember, but they don't. That's obviously another really good draw. Wrenn and Six is going to buy back the Ketria Triome anyway. So let's go and get another basic, I think. So then we'll go... I think we're just ending... Yeah, ending the Thought Not Seer. Draw a card. Then Wrenn and Six. Get back Triome. If our opponent attacks us here, we're taking it. We don't want them drawing cards. The other option there was to go Witness, but we can now Witness Time Warp. You know, we've got loads and loads of mana next turn. And if we draw Ephemerate, we're very close on just winning the game. One thing we can't beat with this deck is Infinite Life. Okay, my opponent does have Tron now, which is worrying. Could be all his dust here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe we should have played around that. So we go Witness. Yeah, okay, so Witness Omnath. Plains. Yeah. Witness Omnath. Yeah. We could actually get ooh, Ephemerate. That's pretty good. I think though we just want to hold here. Then we can. We should have another white. So yeah, we've got Temple Garden here to go Ephemerate. So I'll probably block with Eternal Witness and then Ephemerate it. And then we can get Time Warp back and we probably win the game. And we gain some life here. Don't know what my opponent's got in hand. They've got a lot of mana. Another All Is Dust is good. There's a smasher. Can't block that one, but it could be another smasher. Double smasher's pretty good. We do get to gain some life, of course. Okay, opponent attacking with everything. So if we fetch shock, we lose 3 but gain 4 up to 12. Okay, yeah, so let's go with this. Okay, so we'll gain 4 up to 12. And then we're just gonna, I don't think we need to kill this. Opponent could have... opponent could have like, what's it called? Spatial Contortion. Do I choose to play around Spatial Contortion here? Block here. Block here. Actually, I think we do, because then we can just go... That's a way that we could lose this game. Although, if we block and then my opponent blows us out with Spatial Contortion on the Witness... No, I think we're just going to go with it. Ephemerate this. Get Time Warp back. And now I think we take all the turns. We're at 2. I guess our opponent could have Warping Whale. No, they would have used it on the Eternal Witness here. So yeah, we can cast it on this Witness. And then buy back Ephemerate. Yeah. And then we can just Time Warp every turn. Suppose we better gain some life first, just in case. Is that the concession lockup? Essentially. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's two good wins there. Deck seems really powerful. It's doing really powerful stuff. When you come up against other mid-range strategies, it's just, yeah, pretty. It is pretty unbeatable. But yeah, see you for the next round. Right, a Lurrus deck, but we're definitely keeping this. Pretty much any hand with a fetch land and a turn 2 Wrenn and Six is a keep, I think, certainly in the blind. So we'll lead off with a Windswept Heath here. Don't think it matters massively. Okay, looking like hammer time. Okay, Sentinel. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have another creature. So we're going to let them draw a card here. We'll go and get Raugrin Triome Basic Forest, I think. So I think here, I've pretty much come to the conclusion with Esper Sentinel that you can't, the more you try and play around it, the more it gets you. I mean, here we've obviously got an excellent line because it doesn't actually put us down a card. Yeah, so we'll just kill that. Keep their board a little bit clear. Got Solitude, which is really nice. Yeah, Saga's good. Smith. So if my opponent doesn't find Bauble, we can actually just hit that as well. Could have been that they were saving it. But yeah, okay. So they find a Mishra's Bauble. Oh, okay, and they've got a Memnite as well. So I think we're just going to kill both creatures here. Ooh, Teferi. So yeah, we'll kill the Memnite. Play a land. We don't want to bounce the Smith, really. So we could just Coatl. Kind of want a growth. If we growth this fetch land, and then we could block the smith. We don't get to... It's either... Oh, I'm not sure here. This gets us to see a lot of cards. We do need to see if I find another land, really. We've got Solitude if we need it. Well, we're definitely doing this, I think. Okay, Iteration. That's not a bad one. So, I think we're just going to ending this. Yeah, I think so. Just make it so that my opponent can't, you know, just trying to keep their board clear, really. I guess we didn't really need to find another land because we got this Wrenn and Six. So the opponent, So we find a land. We could go Iteration. I kind of want to go Teferi, bounce the Saga. But then my opponent makes a construct, but then they don't get to search. We're definitely returning a land, so let's do that first. We could go Iteration. We could go Iteration Coatl. But I'd kind of like to save the Coatl. Although we can play a land and give it Death Touch, actually. The Abundant Growth falls off, but... yeah, actually, I think that's probably best, so... I guess the trouble is there, it kind of gives the game away a little bit, because we're going to have to fetch now for an island instead of just using this, because then it gets Death Touch. I think we're going to do that. I think that's for the best. So the reason you enchant these is usually because then later on in the game you've got them for Omnath. So this kind of gives away what we're doing here. We could have just taken the fact that we're not going to hit a land. Okay, so we'll put this in hand, this on the bottom, exile that, and then we'll go and get another land, because we might as well play this one now. Let's go and get another land. So it's pretty obvious to our opponent if they're keeping up that we've got... Okay, that's a good draw. Well, this is the problem with with fetching the basics, I guess. We can't play this next turn and gain life. But we've got this Solitude, which is a very good insurance policy. Okay, so as the Saga goes off, if they want to make a token... We're fine with that. It costs a lot of mana to do it here. You're often more scared when they make the mana. Okay, so they are making the mana. So they get Shadow Spear. Which, okay. So they're going to equip here. They're going to try and kill our Wrenn and Six, I think. But given... Okay, Dark Confidant. So I think here... So it's very tempting to just let this happen. But I think I'm going to evoke Solitude here. We are going to have to kill this Pure Steel Paladin. Well, if we let this happen, we can then bounce this with Teferi and hold up Counterspell. I think we're going to evoke here. Do we want to use the Omnath is the question, or do we want to use the Teferi? I think I'm actually going to use the Omnath, because then the next turn we can go Teferi and hold up Counterspell and Ice-Fang. Maybe that's incorrect. But we also get to kill the Dark Confidant for free with this Wrenn and Six. Oh, no we don't. Okay, so we're going to have to kill the Dark Confidant. Okay, another Ice-Fang. So we've got a land to play. So Teferi bouncing Dark Confidant isn't too bad. Oh, we could go Teferi, bounce Shadow Spear, and then counter the Shadow Spear on the way back down. I don't mind that actually. So let's just go and get basic planes. Pretty conscious of my life total here. We've got enough blue. So if we go Teferi, no, I think I want to go and get... I might just go and get Breeding Pool here, actually. So we go to Teferi, white, blue, green. And then we'll go return... We can return the Shadow Spear. Ping the bot. Yeah, I think we're going return Shadow Spear. Opponent gets to see what we're drawing. Eternal Witness is a nice one. We'll ping the Dark Confidant. And now we can counter the Shadow Spear on the way back down. Or if our opponent elects to play something else. And then next turn we can actually Eternal Witness back the Counterspell. Okay, another land. Well, Sigarda's Aid is pretty good. That's fine. We're going to let that one resolve. I'm going to counter the Shadow Spear. Okay, opponent drawing a card there, which is fine. Sigarda's Aid is less good with Teferi. I mean, it's still good because it's an equipper, but Wrenn and Six guaranteeing a land. Oh, that's really strong. Okay, so let's go Omnath. Oh, we can't actually Omnath, can we? So white, yeah, we haven't got enough lands to go Omnath. So let's go and get Wooded. Yeah, okay, I think I need to be a bit more aggressive with fetching. So let's go land. Let's go Witness. We could just get back Solitude here. Or Counterspell. They haven't put Lurus to hand yet. We could get Ending back. Ending the Paladin. I think I'm just going to get Counterspell. Like, we're not actually too afraid of much my opponent's doing. We just need to get into a position where we can't lose now. Okay, Springleaf Drum's fine. That can resolve. They might just put Lurus to hand here, but if that's all they want to do, then we can Ice-Fang. Another drum. Yeah, so we'll play another Ice-Fang out. Do you need to end up shocking here? More white mana, please. Yeah, okay, so that's a lesson. I think I need to be more aggressive with shocking. Okay, so we'll buy back a land. Play the Omnath. Gain some life. I guess we might as well play out some stuff here. Yeah, we're kind of finding everything now. Tap with everything. Now we can hold up Counterspell for the Lurus. Opponent has no creatures. Yeah, we're now in a position to properly turn the corner. Well, I guess we might as well Counterspell that. You know, my opponent's only going to take that. We might as well not give them the information. Did I forget to tick up Teferi last time? I think I might have done. Another mistake. Still learning this deck. Need to improve, really. Okay, so we'll grab a land back. Gain some life. Tick up. Oh, I probably should have... yeah, I definitely should have ticked down the Wrenn and Six there. Let's go iteration. Okay, we actually get out of it. So this, exile this, enchant the plains. Yep. Just get back ending here. Ending Lurus. Make sure we pay the right mana. Attack with everything. Should be it next turn. Not quite, but we've got the Coatl and the Wrenn and Six ping as well. Opponent takes a look at the top of our library. That's an Urza's Saga. Okay, so we should just be in good shape here. Ephemerate. Embarrassment of riches here, really. Okay, gets the job done. Yeah, it took us quite a long time, so we're going to have to speed up a little bit, but yeah. Turn 2 Wrenn and Six on the play is just, it's just what you want to be doing every time, isn't it? It's just insane. Okay, so here, obviously we want Night of Autumn, Force of Vigor, both the helixes. Veil of Summer could be interesting. Spreading Seas is good. So Time Warp's probably less good. Counterspell was okay there, but I don't think it's good in general. Anything else? We need to cut one more card. I don't think we're bringing in Veil of Summer. For the they probably are running 4 Thoughtseize, but Do we? No, we want the Coatls, we want the Wrenn and Sixes, we want the Iterations. Spreading Seas is good. Maybe we cut an Ephemerate. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, we see a no-lander, which will mulligan. And yeah, we'll keep this. We're going to bottom the basic island, I think. Could be Thoughtseize. Okay, well, our hand's pretty Thoughtseize proof. Okay, yeah, makes sense to take the Coatl there. Instantly draw another Coatl. Coatl? I say Coatl, but okay, Wrenn and yeah, Stoneforge is a little bit scary here. They do get Colossus Hammer. Yeah, okay, sure. So play the Heath, the one they know about. Might just be time to grab basic forest. Yeah, I think so. Play this. Get a land back past the turn. Obviously, if our opponent goes, yeah, so they do get to equip their hammer here. So we would like to draw well, Teferi's not great. So we have got a blocker. Well, there's Teferi. Yeah, so we're going to run out the Teferi. We'll tick up and get a basic plains, I think. So this is obviously a little bit awkward because our opponent gets to search again, but I mean, even one hammer's good enough now, so. It just buys us time, essentially. That means they can't do any shenanigans in combat either. And we're going to, yeah, so this is going to have Death Touch, which is obviously really nice. Oh, actually, oh, that's a good one. So what did our opponent go and get? They got another hammer. I wonder if I meant to... I feel like I meant to play Wrenn and Six ping here. Yeah, definitely. And then we will just play a Heath and pass the turn. Keeps my opponent off creatures. We've got 2 Planeswalkers out. That Teferi was actually a really good draw. Obviously Fury's really good as well. Could just be Lurisan. There's a Smith. Yeah, we do have to remember that our opponent has another hammer in hand. They can't cast it at instant speed though because of Teferi. Here comes the hammer. So we need more. I guess we need another red mana and more white maybe. So we could Fury here, but I don't think that does that much. Yeah, we're going to try and Coatl Death Touch this. That pause could be good for us. Could be Solitude or something on the top. Or another Teferi, Prismatic Ending. No, just a Stomping Ground. Yeah, we'll get a Windswept Heath back, play a Windswept Heath. I wonder if we're meant to buy Yorion here. No, I don't think so. Oh, that was actually the wrong land to play. Because I need to fetch basic. Oh, please tell me I have double forest. Oh, I'll be very, yeah, I'll be pretty annoyed if I've done that. Please have a basic. Yeah, we do. I get lucky there. That is very lucky. And drawing the Eternal Witness is obviously amazing as well. Esper Sentinel. Could be Core Outfitter. Okay, this is just brutal now. Unless I have another creature. That is Shadow Spear. Okay, so but that's fine. We're just going to cast Fury here. Yeah, and then this is really, that's probably enough for a concession. Yep, keep returning lands and play a Stomping Ground. Opponent has one card in hand. We actually have lethal on the field because my opponent's taken so much damage. I mean that I've drawn so well in this match, it's just not really fair. Yeah, that was absolutely brutal. Drawing the second Coatl and drawing the Fury and everything. You know, again, I nearly messed up with the lands, but the deck's kind of carrying us through. Some of these cards are just, yeah, they're pretty busted, but we are 3-0. Let's see you for round number 4. 5-0 Dream is still alive. Okay, on the play here for round number 4. Let's declare Yorion. This hand's okay. I think we'll keep. Got Furies as early interactions, got a Counterspell for turn 2, it's got Expressive Iteration for turn 3. Yeah, so reasonably happy. Go and get a Triome here. Spiral Canal. If this is a right, okay, so this is Living End. So let's go and get a Triome. So yeah, we're going to need to hold up Counterspell for their Living End. I think I'm going to Iteration here because then we need to hold up Counterspell. So go and grab Breeding Pool here, I think. Normally you don't want to Iteration until you can be sure that you're going to hit a land, but here we're just using it as a 2 mana, you know, find one. Yeah, 2 mana, find one out of the top 3. So these aren't great. Is there anything Prismatic Ending's going to be able to hit in my opponent's deck? Don't think so. So we'll put, I think we're just going to take an extra land, sad as it is. We'll put the ending on the bottom. Yeah, there's pretty, yeah, we're glad to get those 3 off the top of our deck. You know, it could be that we're meant to evoke Fury here. Okay, opponent probably looking for grief. Okay, we find an island. We're going to play Misty and pass. We probably don't want to fetch here. We know that Prismatic Ending is on the bottom. There's a Street Wraith. Is the opponent looking for their third land? They've got 3 lands. Okay. So we're going to have to counterspell this grief. Oh, we've drawn really badly here as well. Let's play another land and hope our opponent doesn't go for it. So I'd imagine our opponent will Violent Outburst in our upkeep. No Violent Outburst yet. So we'll just play a land. I think we can now get Yorion to hand. So we're kind of representing that we have Counterspell here. If our opponent resolves a Living End, I'll probably just concede. Okay, just flashing in a Brazen Borrower. So we're going to Fury that down. So that implies they haven't got the Living End. But we could really do with finding a Counterspell here. Okay, Ending can actually hit this. But I'm wondering whether we instead want to... I think we're going to Ending that. Opponent could force here. Yeah, they've got a force. Okay. So I think now I'm just gonna Fury it. Actually, no. I think we can wait now because next turn we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a lot of my strategy at the moment is predicated on pretending we have Counterspell. So next turn I want to be able to cast Fury. I mean, putting it in the graveyard isn't bad because obviously you get it back if my opponent goes Living End. Okay, they've suspended a Living End. So here we'll fetch. Actually, we can fetch twice here because our opponent's tapped out. Save us a bit of life, so we'll just go and get Steam Vents. So it might be that our opponent's drawn all their Living Ends, of course. Okay, so we'll play out the forest, and then we'll... yeah, we're just trying to... I mean, it might definitely be that our opponent just doesn't have it. So we'll kill that. But yeah, we're just wanting to represent Counterspell here. We've shown our opponent that we do have a Counterspell. So we can attack him for 6 here. Then we draw a Lightning Bolt, which isn't bad. Okay, so how 2 turns? We've got 2 turns before that comes in. So let's play a land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I think we're just casting the Fury again. So it might be that my opponent just hasn't had it. And they are going to get to okay, grief here. So I think we just bolt my opponent, because then, I mean, the game's kind of up now. So yeah, we'll bolt my opponent, because then whichever way round, whatever my opponent takes, we're going to get to kill this grief. Actually no, that was wrong, because if they take Fury now, then Yorion doesn't kill grief before we can damage them. Yeah, I should have bolted the grief there. Well, I suppose we've got more answers to a grief. You know, we could draw another Prismatic Ending. Yeah, maybe we're being punished for not taking that Prismatic Ending. Teferi Time Raveler is by far our best draw. It stops the living end coming in next turn. So yeah, that was a bit of an error. So I think we can just fetch now. We really want to avoid. Okay, well, Omnath draws us a card at least. That is a good draw. Okay, well, we can Yorion. The trouble is my opponent gets to living end. Actually, I wonder if we're meant to... Okay, so that's Yorion, and then we can kill Omnath with our own Yorion. Sorry, with our own Fury. Yeah, so I should have bolted my opponent's. Should have bolted my opponent's grief there. Right, so we're I think I mean we're pretty much dead here. So I think we're just going to deal our own Omnath 4 damage, because living end's coming in next turn. We draw Wrenn and Six. Yeah, so here's living end. I guess my opponent gets to grief. So what are we killing here? I think we're just going to kill the 2 griefs. We draw another land. Yeah, this is yeah. Obviously, we had a lot of good draws there, but sadly we don't get there. Don't think there's anything that can get us out of this now. Eladamri's Call. Let's have a look. Okay. I mean, it might be that our opponent has Force of Negation, in which case we will just concede. Yeah, they have the other one. Okay, sure. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate there that we never saw Teferi Time Raveler in all those cards. But don't know what Eladamri's Call would have done for us there, really. Okay, so Veil of Summer is potential. We don't actually have much in the way of graveyard hate. We haven't got any endurances at the moment. So we're going to want this Force Aether Gust is no good. Flusterstorm is good. And so Bolt doesn't really do anything. We didn't like ending. We could in fact cut all the endings. Helix is probably just better. Actually, yeah, we want the Veil of Summers. It stops against grief. So Bolt, Subtlety. Don't think we want any of those. Gust. Living End doesn't stop Living End, so I think we just go with this. Right, definitely play first. This is okay. We're gonna keep. Yeah, it's got answers to Living End. If we didn't have this iteration, this is probably a mulligan because the lands are pretty bad. As it is, we're not really doing much until turn 3. But if we can find a fetch land off the top, that's just insane. Okay, just a cycle from our opponent. Okay. Am I meant to do it now? Just look for a land. I feel like I am. Yeah, because otherwise... So if we do it now, look for a land, then we go land Wrenn and Six next turn. If not, we're iteration. No, I think we want to save it. It might be that we draw the land naturally as well. Waker of Waves. Fetch land. Okay. Oh, that's so bad. I guess we take the Spreading Seas as the only one we can actually cast. Put that on the... Yeah, we had so many looks at our third land here. I mean, opponent could just go Shardless Agent here. Yeah, if it's not game over, Shardless Agent, but oh, that's just so bad. We've had 5 or so looks at a third land to just pretty much win the game. Sure. Maybe we were meant to just hold up there. Okay, so we do find a land. So at any point in shocking for Flusterstorm? Don't think so. We're taking 11. Hasn't been a green land either. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I feel like we were really in this game if we find a land there from that grief as well, yeah. Yeah, if we find a land in any of our top, we had our draws for turn 2 and 3, and we had the 3 cards from iteration 5. So I feel like any land there is, you know, we had 5 looks at the land. I feel like we would have probably been okay here. And now I don't think there's any way we can win this game. If we draw Teferi, bounce the Waker. Ice-Fang, yeah, okay. Oh, that's a bad way to lose our first game of this league. It's definitely possible that we should have just held up Flusterstorm on turn 2 rather than playing the iteration. Yeah, I think given that we knew what was happening, we should have iterationed on 2 and then just looked for the land. But maybe it was a sketchy keep as well. But yeah, that's sometimes the way it goes. yeah, let me know what you would have done there. Maybe from mulliganing to the play. Definitely a range of decisions, but I think we always needed to hit that third land. So, but yeah, let me know if you'd have played different. And yeah, see you for the next round playing for the 4 and 1. All right, round number 5. We're against the Lurus deck. 4 lands. We've got an Ephemerate and a Prismatic Ending, but I think there's some mulligan. Ephemerate doesn't do anything. Omnath's not till turn 4. We've got the ending, but yeah, this is looking a lot better. We're going to bottom, I think, one of these Ice-Fangs. And then we can start looping Eternal Witness with Ephemerate. Obviously, depending on what our opponent does here. Maybe we're meant to keep both Ice-Fangs, but... So Lurus could be any number of decks. Hall of Storm Giants. Okay. Another Teferi. So let's just play this Flooded Strand and pass. So Hall of Storm Giants could be control, but they've got Lurus, so... Okay, so this is looking like a blue-black or Grixis Lurus. Okay, so we find another land, which is nice. So it could be the whole thing in the ice, dressed down thing. Okay, Cling to Dust. Thoughtseize. I'm going to run out the Ice-Fang here. My opponent probably takes Teferi, but but we kind of want to draw. Maybe this is incorrect, but opponent could dress down here. Okay, we draw a third copy of Teferi, so won't be surprised to see our opponent taking Eternal Witness here, actually. Okay, they take Ephemerate, which is an interesting choice. So my opponent probably has Drown in the lock. So I think we're just going to start slamming Teferis here. So what land do we go and get? We could get... So we've got the colours. We probably don't need any more white. We need double green. So green, red probably. Yeah, so I fear this is going to get drowned a lot. If we'd have found a untapped land... Okay, so just Counterspell. Yeah, they do run that as well. Land would be good. Okay, we find our own Counterspell. So yeah, I think we're just continuing the Teferi run here. This will probably be met with a Drown in the lock. Could be a Memory Deluge here. Or an Archmage's Charm. Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, missing a land there is pretty horrid. Okay, attack from the opponent. Okay, so we might just be meant to wait here. Consider. So opponent looking for lands potentially. Okay, so we'll iteration. Oh, opponent got another counterspell. Okay. I think we're just going to bolt their Snapcaster here. Hit them for another 1. Yeah, really needed to hit a land here. A couple of lands would have been obviously ideal. Okay, so there's a land. Question is, do we want to counterspell, or do we want to go for another Teferi here? I think we're just going to wait and hold up counterspell. I guess my opponent can use Cling to Dust. I'm going to counter that one. Yeah, my opponent can obviously flash it back, but Torak. Oh, that's rough. That's really rough. Wasn't expecting that. Well, that's a good draw though. Plains. Do I care about blocking here? Probably not. Drown the lock as well. So we're spreading seas this Hall of Storm Giants. We do find a land. I think we want to just put Yorion to hand. Go and get a snow-covered island. Pass the turn. We are going to want to block here if we can. Well, maybe we're not meant to block here. Yeah, we're just dead. Opponent can do whatever they want. Snap, push, snap. Yeah. Okay, so it's not, by the looks of it, Thing in the Ice. Opponent instead relying on Torak to do the heavy lifting. Okay, so Veil of Summer seems good against the blue-black deck. Flusterstorm as well. Don't think we want Force. This can't kill Torak. So what are we cutting? Spreading Seas can probably go. All this stuff's great. Bolt kills Torak, so that probably has to stay in. Fury also kills Torak. Solitude can actually go. I wonder if we want to get rid of the other Solitudes. Yeah, I think we don't want Solitude here. Maybe we'll have 2 cards. Is a 5-mana dragon really what we want to be doing? Probably not. I'll bring in Subtlety. I don't think we want Night of Autumn. Do you want Force? No, I don't think so. Let's keep in 1 Spreading Seas. Something like that. Again, if we find a land in our top cards, but I don't think I'm going to risk it here. That's much better. We'll keep this. I'm going to put 1 iteration on the bottom. Play Windswept Heath and pass the turn. So we'll go and get a Triome here. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have Thoughtseize. Ugh. Yeah. Take our Wrenn and Six. That's pretty bad. Okay, go and get Raugrin Triome. So here I don't think we're going to use the iteration on turn 2. We want the card advantage, especially since we mulliganed. So we are drawing Stomping Ground. Okay. I think we'll just go and get the other Triome past the turn. We're going to try for iteration here, but our opponent probably counterspells it. Mountain Island. Yeah, opponent has Drown in the Lock. Yes, if my opponent manages to kick Torak on turn 4, we're in a bit of trouble. Opponent must run out of counterspells at some point. Apparently not. Yep, another Drown in the Lock. If this is kick Torak, I'll be pretty annoyed. No kick Torak, which is handy. Okay, we get Fury. The thing is, do we want to just cast it, or do I want to wait? I don't think I want to cast it just yet. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have Memory Deluge either. This is so bad. I don't know, I feel like this matchup should be favourable. Yeah, the lack of endurance hurts us. Yeah, Thoughtseize. That's a good one. I think we just keep slamming here. I think we're meant to just keep slamming. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have another counterspell, or even worse, yep, Snapcaster Mage. Ugh. But yeah, I think we just keep jamming. Don't know, maybe I was meant to wait, but the longer you wait, the more likely it is for our opponent to just draw Torak. Okay, adding Lurus to hand. Do we want to Fury? I think I'm going to Fury here. Well, could just actually I'm just going to ending the Snapcaster Mage. So the trouble with Fury is the trouble with Fury is we kill the Snapcaster Mage. If our opponent draws a land, they go land, Lurus, Snapcaster Mage, Thoughtseize, which is obviously awful. Okay, so opponent not playing anything. They've got 6 cards in hand. Okay. We'll try and play this Wrenn and Six. Like I say, I think we just keep jamming at the moment. Yeah, they've gone through a Drown in the Lock. Wrenn and Six does resolve. Take this Misty Rainforest back. Opponent could have Cling to Dusted our Misty Rainforest. Okay, wanting to Memory Deluge. This card's pretty good. Maybe we could we afford one in this? Maybe. Okay, so that's why my opponent didn't care about Wrenn and Six. We do get a card advantage, a piece of card advantage back from it. So my opponent targeted themselves with a bauble, so they may have another land. Yeah, so they like what they saw on top. Okay, another Fury. Don't think we want to run out the Fury. I think I want to try and get some sort of 2-for-1 out of it. Okay, opponent got all the cards. Got Lurrus in hand. As I consider, they got Thoughtseize as well. They do have Thoughtseize, which we have to let resolve. Yeah, please don't be Torak. Torak probably just wins the game on the spot here. 2 black. Okay, there's Lurrus. Gonna have to kill that. Okay, didn't like what our opponent saw on top. So it looks like my opponent has got a counterspell. That is one of our best draws, I would say, if not the best draw. Just need to make sure we hold up Forest. Yeah. Deal Lurrus 4 damage. Oh, should have played the land there, really. Although we don't really want my opponent to know what we've got in hand. And it might be worth saving it for Omnath. Okay, opponent drown in the locks, the Fury. Well, the Ephemerate's not a bad draw. If we can find a Coatl. Play the land now because we've got the fetch land in case you draw another Omnath. Opponent gets to deluge again though. Okay. Oh, this is Torak, isn't it? Ugh. Yeah, gets rid of our Fury. Maybe no, we couldn't have saved the Veil of Summer there. Okay, so we've got Ice-Fang. I feel like I'm meant to just Ice-Fang now. Okay, another Ice-Fang. And then we'll Ephemerate one, I think. Opponent might just have Fatal Push. Gross. Yeah, we probably should have just waited. Yeah, maybe that's bad. Yeah, I probably should have waited for a removal spell there. Don't think I'm blocking here. Okay, kills one of them. Snapcaster Mage, kill another. Opponent's got so much removal. Yeah, I don't really know where this... Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have been... I don't know, I've read a very good primer on this deck, which is sort of how to kind of play it. And against control, it says that you can just sort of jam and jam and jam until something sticks. But I don't know, with Snapcaster Mage and Memory Deluge here, this I wonder if it's running all 4 Memory Deluge. Okay, well, Eternal Witness is a good one. We have to play it out. Come on, it's kind of another counterspell. It's no surprise. Look how many cards my opponent went through with Memory Deluges and Considers, and deck list seems really sweet. I guess, yeah, Torak's really good against us there. Shame to go from the 3-0 to the 3-2, but yeah, the deck I mean, it's really fun, the deck. Really enjoy playing it. Things I'd change, I think we do need a little bit more graveyard hate. If it wasn't so expensive on MTGO, it would be nice to have the endurances in here. But everything else seemed fine. Let me know if you've got any, if there's any material or anything I can read, please do put it in the comments, or if you've got any tips, that would also be much appreciated. But for now, we'll sign off and see you next time. Cheers.